you were to ask someone, what's Title IX? I'm willing to bet that the most common answer would be something like, it let women play sports. The most bitter answer might be, it took away funding for our baseball team. Title IX did have a huge impact for women in sports. It's part of the reason I got to play Little League and thus have this picture in perpetuity. However, what you might not know is that the original Title IX makes no mention of sports. What it does say is,
no person in the United States shall, on the basis of sex, be excluded from participation in, be denied the benefits of, or be subjected to discrimination under any education program or activity receiving federal financial assistance.
It covers 10 key areas: athletics, access to higher education, career education, education for pregnant and parenting students, employment, learning environment, math and science, standardized testing, technology, and sexual harassment. Yes, under Title IX, sexual harassment and sexual violence are forms of gender discrimination. Well, for now, thanks to Betsy Guns and Schools Kill Grizzlies Devos, that might not be the case for much longer. You may remember last year after she met with some men's rights groups since, you know, it's a scary time to be a man. Devos rescinded documents that outlined how schools should address sexual misconduct. Then, on November 29th, 2018, the Department of Education published its proposed regulations that would basically let schools almost entirely off the hook for handling allegations of sexual assault. Let's jump into some of those proposed changes, shall we? Schools wouldn't be responsible if a student only told their teacher or coach that they trust. Allegations have to be made with a Title IX coordinator or another high-ranking university official. Schools will be required to ignore harassment that occurs outside of a school activity, including most off-campus and online harassment. Good thing 87% of college students live off campus and people are super nice to each other online. The actual definition of sexual harassment will be severely limited. So schools would be required to ignore harassment until it becomes so severe that it denies a student educational opportunities. The supportive measures schools would be able to provide can't unreasonably burden the other party, so it would be impossible for survivors to request that their perpetrator be moved out of their dorm or classes. There would be no clear time frame for investigations, and schools would be able to delay taking any action. The standard of proof would change from the preponderance of evidence, which means more likely than not, and be changed to clear and convincing evidence, which is a standard of proof that favors the perpetrator. These aren't even all the changes proposed, but the argument for these and the rest of the changes are that it's supposed to be helping the rights of those accused. But these rules are about letting schools ignore sexual violence, not due process. In fact, they will lead to around a 39% annual reduction in investigations, which, big reveal, would lead to universities saving around $19 million. It's basically saying, cool, you can keep your Me Too movement, and we're just gonna keep sweeping this shit under the rug. The good news is, before these changes go into effect, they are open to an open comment period for 60 days, which has already started, but is open until January 28th. Open comment means anyone has a chance to submit comments which all have to be read and considered, and means that the courts can strike down regulations that are insufficiently responsive to that public input. So, what can you do up until January 28th? 1, spread the word. Tweet, share, and repost this video or any of the resources below so people know that this is happening. 2, submit a comment. Check out the resources I provided below for how to write an effective comment. Just a quick mention to really send this home. Under these new rules, Michigan State and Penn State would have had no responsibility in stopping the decades of abuse from Larry Nassar and Jerry Sandusky. So, let that sink in. I'm Kristin Brey, and thanks for watching Below the Fold. Please like, comment, and share to spread awareness, and you can subscribe to get more videos like this every week at www.belowthefold.co.